स्लीपी क्लासेस के सारे सब्जेक्ट।
मुझे पता चला था कि स्लीपी क्लासेस
मेरा स्लीपी के साथ इंटरेक्शन हुआ।
स्लीपी क्लासेस
I completely relied on your channel.
सिर्फ स्लीपी की वीडियोस भी देखी हैं।
स्लीपी क्लासेस
स्लीपी क्लासेस इज वन ऑफ दोस मतलब इंस्टीट्यूशन जहाँ पे सभी टीचर अच्छे हैं.
Hi everybody, this is T. Bhuvaneshram. I've secured All India rank 41 in UPSC Civil Services Examination 2023. And in this video, I will be focusing on mental health, which is a very important topic in UPSC preparation, perhaps not as addressed as it should be, and something close to my heart as well. So, firstly, I'd like to start with my own journey, my own story, which has been quite interesting in UPSC. After graduating in BSc Physics Honours from Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning in Bengaluru, I started preparation in 2016 and it was a very long journey for me. It took 6 attempts, 6 prelims, 4 mains, 4 interviews, 3 selections to reach a place which we all dream about. So, like I said, it is a very long journey for me. Coming to my own preparation journey, the first prelims I couldn't clear. So it was a very close call. I think I missed it perhaps by 2 or 3 marks, and it is not something acceptable, right? You think you have done everything correctly. You come from a very academically strong background where you are the school topper, you are the department topper, you get medals, and here is an examination that puts you to the test. So it was not something easy to digest, but still I did digest it, and I think I came back stronger in the next attempt. In my second attempt, I went till interview. I was very young, I was 22 when I went to my first interview, but I think perhaps I was anxious also. So again I closely missed out on the final list. I couldn't see my name in the holy PDF, as we all call it, and it was a tough time coming closely in various stages and missing out. But in the third attempt, something interesting happened. I did clear in my third attempt in 2019 with an All India rank. But and of course, I was very happy that finally I found my name in the rank list, and I thought somehow, though the rank was not satisfactory and I was having mixed feelings whether I would get the service that I need, whether it will help me have a fulfilling career, what service will I get, and all that. But of course I was happy that I had become a civil servant. It comes with a lot of prestige, a lot of responsibility, right? So late May the results come, and early August is when the first allocation of service comes. This was in 2020 during COVID, and when I opened the service allocation list with all expectation, with bated breath, I couldn't find my name in the first iteration of service allocation list. It was interesting and surprising and shocking and confusing for me, because I didn't know that something like that could happen at all. I was very young, I didn't have much guidance apart from some test series and all that. But later I came to know that there was one issue which was happening for a lot of people, and due to that issue the service allocation for a bunch of us was put on hold. So it became like only if the issue is raised in courts, and if we file cases in courts, and if the courts give a favorable judgment, we will be allotted service. So while people who have cleared with you go and start their career on a high, you are held back without service allocation. So it was a mixed kind of a feeling. It was almost a kind of a identity confusion or crisis kind of a thing, where you know that you have done your best, you know you have cleared, but you are not given the opportunity to enter the service. So it was a tough time, and again I was not in the mentally right place to give the next attempt, but I did give the attempt, but in my fourth prelims again I couldn't clear. So it again humbled my preparation process, and it gave the sense of uncertainty that is there built in this examination process. So meanwhile I did explore other opportunities. I will come back later to that. In my fifth attempt, I was fortunate enough to again clear the examination, get my name in the rank list with a better rank this time. But interestingly, the issue happened again with another bunch of people, but I was the only common link between these 2 years, 2020 and 2022. So the service was not allotted, and again we had to rely on judiciary, we had to file cases and all that. The what and why of the issue is not perhaps important, but talking about mental health, I am trying to explain that everybody has their own challenges, and I faced my challenges in a quite interesting way. So it was not something that I expected, and it was not something that I felt that I could act upon as well, because you think you have cleared the examination, you think you have done your best, but still there are things outside your control that is not helping you get the result that you want. So it was almost like you are reaching the gate of Labasana and something is stopping you from entering in. An interesting thing that I keep, interesting image that I kept getting in my mind, but somehow I kept getting pushed towards this examination. So luckily this time I cleared this examination with a very good rank, and this time the issue won't be happening, I hope, and I'll be entering the service. So leaving the specifics apart, I want to emphasize that everybody in this journey has very, very different processes, very, very different kinds of challenges, different kinds of issues to enter the examination, to enter the service, right? It may be personal losses, loss of your parents, it may be issues like anxiety, it may be issues like comparison, which is what we all feel. We compare ourselves with our peers, which we also may experience FOMO, or fear of missing out, whether we are enjoying our life. We experience uncertainty, because all said and done, this exam definitely needs an external supporting factor, right? You can term whatever we want, God's grace / luck / fortune, etc., etc., right? So there are n number of reasons why your mental health will get affected in this preparation. But what can we do about it? There are certainly many things that we can do about it, and that is what I'd be focusing on in this video. So as I said, there are n number of reasons that can affect our mental health, but we must realize that time is the best solution. So in my case, despite having a very topsy-turvy kind of a preparation journey, I kept moving on because I was resilient. I think, I like to believe so, and we humans have a very interesting tendency called affective forecasting. So to put it simply, we go very wrong in trying to forecast how our emotional state will be after a particular result. So I went very wrong in thinking that after such an event will happen, my whole life will be lost, and I'll be down forever and ever, and nothing else is possible for me, and I'll be in that victim mindset forever. In fact, I did slip into that mindset for quite some time, but I'm trying to explain that we are much more resilient than we think. It is scientifically proven that humans are very bad affective forecasters. So do trust in time, do trust in your own process. It is, like I said, there is so much evidence that you will get back much stronger than what you expect. So time is a very good solution, a very good solace in such times, such bad times. So just wait it out, and definitely things will get better. This too shall pass, like they say, right? That is one interesting thing that I learned. The another thing that I would like to emphasize is that a lot of people come into this preparation process because they are driven by something larger, something deeper. So I do believe that public service is a higher calling, and in my case as well, I believe that public service is what drew closely to UPSC. But what happens is, once we enter this examination process, we forget why we started. We forget to remember the why. We forget to start with why. So the second most important learning is always start with why, always remember why you started. So in my case, my biggest motivation was the photograph of me passing out of college and having these big dreams about UPSC, right? The photograph helped me stay in line with the process. If I do something that is not in line with preparation, I would be guilty when I see the photograph, because I am not doing justice to the guy who set out to do something big in this process. So we have to definitely remember our roots, remember our why, remember why we started. And talking about public service as a higher calling, I try to remain in touch with that higher value, which is driving my pursuit to civil service. And which tried to help me not get lost in this process. Let me explain. So like a lot of us, I also was involved in community service, volunteerism, etc. in my college days. But somehow after we come to UPSC, we lose touch with such opportunities, right? So I try to be involved in as many volunteering opportunities as possible. Even though it is a small opportunity which can be done from home, I try to volunteer with agencies like Chennai Volunteers. I have been a tele-volunteer during COVID, talking to patients. I have briefly worked with an agency that helped digitize government schemes and create a website which displays each state, and a beneficiary can choose his or her state and go and see the schemes that is applicable to him. So a lot of small projects I kept trying to be involved in, so that I remain in touch with the higher public service value that I believed was driving me. So eventually I got to work with Shri Albijon Bugis IAS in an internship scheme. It was a unique scheme that he brought about in his district, in my district in fact, which was Tiruvallur district in Tamil Nadu. So in this opportunity as well, I tried to get exposed to as many departments as possible. I tried to work in many initiatives. I saw how governments work, the huge complex adapting system called the government. How does it work? How does it move? How do the many moving parts come together to deliver public service to the common man? So it was interesting to observe that in close quarters, and this was after I had in fact cleared the first time and couldn't be allotted service. So it was interesting to see somebody who are cleared with you be in the civil service and you are working as an intern. So when you undergo such experiences, your ego comes into play, right? So like Ryan Holiday says in his book, ego is the biggest enemy. We must be aware that our ego tries to be our enemy in our successes, in our failures, in our aspirations. So being aware of the fact that our ego is playing in our minds will definitely help you stay humble, right? So remember why you started public service as a core value. That is one thing. And another interesting approach that I took is to control the controllables, like we read in Stoicism. And as is evident in my story, there is a lot of things outside our control that can go awry and that can prevent you from doing what you want. But just because those things are happening, you should not sit back and go into the victim mindset, because self-pity is a very comfortable place. You can keep blaming others, you can keep blaming everything, but at the end of the day, you will remain in the place where you are. So in order to take charge, in order to develop that internal locus of control, I believe that we have to adopt this process called control the controllables. So in fact, after continuing my story, after the internship, I took up a job with NABARD, which is another apex financial institution. So in my view, while I was waiting for the service allocation from the previous attempts, I thought that why not take up an opportunity, whichever opportunity is coming away, to be involved in public service. So I took up a job in NABARD, and while having a job in NABARD, I gave my last attempt. And even here there were many challenges, like I had an accident, I had to undergo a ligament tear surgery and all that. Without dramatizing it too much, I just tried to emphasize the point that challenges are a built-in part of life, and challenges are definitely a built-in part of preparation. There is no excuse that we can give to not give a fight. We should not go down without giving a fight. So trusting the process and controlling the controllables is what we can do. Though we realize that there is uncertainty, there is luck built in this process. As they say, luck favors the brave, right? So you have to be brave enough to keep giving what you can and keep showing up without giving up. So that is the essence of resilience, is what I believe.
I think I was scrolling YouTube one day and I came across one of your videos, and I'm so thankful to that day that I was scrolling it.
वीडियोस में कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी और ये सब काफी ज्यादा थ्योरी ऑफ आइडियाज जैसे मैंने देखा था, मुझे अच्छे से याद है मैम।
स्लीपी क्लासेस का बहुत बड़ा रोल है मेरे सोशियोलॉजी के 280 मार्क्स में।
Shekhar sir's YouTube videos prove to be a very helpful. I also joined answer writing. I also joined test series and sleepy classes.
I completely relied on your channel.
Another thing that I would like to emphasize is avoiding perfectionism and focusing on reasonable consistency. So a major part of our mental health, why there are issues to our mental health, is because we feel that we are not doing enough. Even if we have a good day, even if we try to enjoy ourselves by going to a movie, we have this guilt that somebody else is preparing, somebody else is reading that book, this book, we are not preparing. Are we eligible for this examination? Are we fit? What happens if we don't clear this examination? That is one big question that we keep getting. So when we try to be perfectionist and try to achieve that 100% results every day, it won't work, because ultimately we are humans. So we must understand that a reasonable incremental approach is very beneficial. So as is often quoted in many books, a 1% increment or 1% improvement over 365 days or 1.01 power to raised to the power 365 is something like 37, and 0.99, that is 1% deterioration every day raised to the power 365, 0.99 raised to the power 365 is 0.003 or something like that. So the power of compounding, the power of consistency over time is what is important than giving 100% every single day. So I would say having a 70 to 80% consistency over a long period of time is good enough for this examination. Give that breathing space, love yourself, give yourself space, and I like to think preparation is like kite flying, right? You should know when to loosen the string and when to tighten the string. If you loosen it too much, it will go out of your hands. If you tighten it too much, you don't even give the opportunity to fly, right? So have a good balance between focusing on preparation and focusing on mental health. In fact, this is not a binary, it should be both. You have to focus on both simultaneously. And on a related note, hobbies. In my case, focusing on my mental health and hobbies was related because I couldn't study and study only all day. I had a lot of hobbies and I tried to keep them up. I watched a lot of movies and I jog and I blog also. So in fact, I maintained a symbiotic relationship with my hobbies and my preparation. What do I mean by it? It is like when I blog, I try to write about policy issues that I feel strongly about. So one fine day, for example, my cousin came and asked me, this was the elections time in Tamil Nadu, it was 2021 during assembly elections. My cousin sister, she came and asked me, whom should I vote for? On what basis should we decide? Because these are people who are entering the electorate the first time, newly turned into 18, right? And the question was very simple, but it triggered a train of thoughts in my mind, and I tried to put it in words and I tried to look up some research articles on it and whatever. I tried to learn on myself. But what is more important is, one, you are improving your answer writing skills, and two, you are getting new policy perspectives that is not usually absorbed in normal preparation process, not from usual books, right? So try to have a symbiotic relationship with preparation also, if possible. I mean, there are hobbies like others, cooking, gardening, which may not have direct relationship with UPSC, but having hobbies and maintaining hobbies is very, very important, because a lot of people who clear have well-rounded personalities. They don't think UPSC is the ultimate or be all and end all of their life. Trying to avoid that unhealthy fixation over this examination, in fact over the result of the examination, helps a lot. If you want to have a plan B, if having a plan B helps you stay calm, stay focused, I would suggest that you should definitely explore it. In my case, I did a cost benefit analysis after a certain point in my life where I was dependent on my parents for 4 to 5 years, and I thought continuing this process is having a lot of social cost, lot of financial cost, lot of mental cost than the benefit. So why not take up a job, and why not pursue opportunities that also helps me stay in touch with my core value of public service, also helps me become more aware about things which will help me become a better administrator tomorrow. So I try to find an opportunity which ticks all the boxes, and fortunately I found a job in NABARD. So all I am trying to tell is that have an open mindset. That is one definite big learning that is there in this process. Continuing the previous point, having hobbies definitely helped for me. Having that symbiotic relationship also definitely helped for me. So I just like to end with a few frameworks that help me stay rational, stay calm, and avoid extreme emotions in that sense. So there is this one interesting framework called PERMA. As a student of psychology, I was fortunate to learn about it in positive psychology. It was put forth by Martin Seligman. It basically explains key factors that is crucial to our subjective well-being, right? So PERMA stands for P for pleasure, E for engagement, R for relationships, M for meaning, and A for accomplishment. I don't know to go into detail about this, but it is pretty self-explanatory. It helps you understand why you are feeling off, what are the things that is not being fulfilled, so that your subjective well-being is off. Subjective well-being is nothing but a technical term for happiness. So this framework helped me to think that where do I have to compensate? Is it that I am falling low on relationships? Am I being too aloof? Am I being too seclusive for a long time? Should I meet a friend for some time to help me get relaxed? So that is one framework that is definitely helpful. Another small formula which I found interesting was that we should have 3 wins every day: a physical, mental and spiritual win. So even if it's an atheist, I think it is definitely applicable, because spiritual, it is a very large term in that sense. It is where something you connect to something bigger than your mundane life, and physical and mental is pretty self-explanatory. So try to have a very well-rounded approach to this preparation. Please don't think that preparation is the be-all and end-all of your life. This definitely will be a transforming, a life-changing process in various terms, in terms of knowledge, in terms of personality. But if we think that only this is our approach and there is no other alternative, and if we try to have that unhealthy fixation, I think it will be counterproductive. So in that sense, I'd like to end with this interesting story that people keep quoting about. When you try to catch a butterfly, when you actually try to catch it, it keeps flying out of your hands, right? But when we try to set up a beautiful garden and focusing on basic things, I think the butterfly slowly comes and starts sitting in our shoulders. So over the course of time, given my topsy-turvy journey, I took a very counterintuitive approach. I focused on things like defensive pessimism. So it's an interesting concept where you think about the worst possible outcome and rationally, calmly improve upon it. So it also is like nishkama karma, right? It all means the same thing. You just do what is under your control without getting too much attached to the results. So I'm just trying to put forth the point that focusing on the controllables, focusing on your mental health in terms of maintaining your hobbies, in terms of maintaining your relationships, in terms of having simple frameworks like I mentioned, which helps you assess your mental health constantly. And even if it gets worse, if you can reach out to professional help like therapy is also well and good. But definitely please prioritize your mental health, because I have been in the tough phase during my preparation. I have reached out opportunities for mentoring, for paper correction. I have tried to do all that also, and in that process, when I interact with aspirants, when I found that there is a lot of mental health issues in these lines for them also. So try to have a very rational approach to this preparation process, and like I said, please focus on your hobbies. Please keep your mental health as a top priority even during preparation process. So only when we are mentally at the top of our game, I feel you can perform well in the examination process. So whether or not this examination benefits or gives a positive result is not entirely in our hands, but whether or not you are happy, whether or not you have done your best, and whether or not you are contented is definitely in our hands. So that's all I want to say regarding mental health. Thank you so much.